Welcome to the April 25th meeting of the Pequannock Township Council. Ms. Marsh.
In accordance with the requirements of New Jersey's Open Public Meetings Act, notice of this meeting was included in the annual meeting notice, which was filed in the office of the Township Clerk, posted on the bulletin board in the municipal building, published as a legal notice in the Suburban Trends newspaper, and distributed to all persons requesting notice in accordance with Township policy.
Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by a prayer and a moment of thanks for individuals serving our nation. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Most gracious Providence, we ask that you bless this governing body with an abundance of wisdom and understanding, so that every deliberation will result in actions which will promote the common good and the general welfare for all the people of Pequannock Township. Amen.
Okay, if the clerk will please call the roll.
Mr. Hurd?
Here.
Mr. Cole?
Here.
Mr. Phelan?
Here.
Ms. Winterfield?
Here.
Mayor Florence Lynch?
Here.
We have a quorum.
Okay. All right, the first item on our agenda is presentations. We have two this evening, and we're going to start with Mary Vinus, who's doing the Morris County Stigma-Free presentation. Hi, Mary.
Hello. I brought you some packets of information.
Thank you, Ma'am. Reading material.
I'm going to ask you to take some. Yeah. There should be a couple extra on. I'll leave them up here in case anyone is interested later. I'm not high tech. I don't have a PowerPoint or anything else. So I wanted to thank you very much for allowing me to come and give you the information on this and allowing me the opportunity to speak about the Morris County Stigma-Free campaign that the county is running. I believe they sent out information to the mayors about what it is. A lot of that information is in there. It's actually a county-wide initiative with aims to eradicate the stigma associated with mental illness and substance use disorders. There's a lot of information in your packets, so a little bit on the right-hand side, I believe, is the toolkit, what each municipality could do to bring this to the forefront. And on the left-hand side, there's some just basic information about mental illness and stigma that goes along with this. Stigma is defined as a mark of disgrace which results from judgment by others. When an individual is labeled, they experience judgment and prejudice, leading to the feelings of shame, embarrassment, distress, hopelessness, and reluctance to seek or accept help. For those of you that do not know me, I am a township resident. I've been here a long time, my entire life, so I'll just say that. I'll let that go there. I am also the Director of Community Response and Education at Newbridge Services, and I'm the Municipal Alliance Coordinator for Pequannock Township. So we are involved in this initiative because of the substance use issue on the MAC level. And obviously Newbridge has a vested interest in mental illness, as you well know. We have housing here in town, we have group home, we have apartments, and we have affordable housing over on Evans Place. So this has been something that the county has wanted to do. They passed this resolution back in April of 2016. As of now, there are 14 towns and municipalities that are part of this initiative. They're listed on the Morris County website. They're asking each town and municipality to be part of this. There's not really a lot. We already do a lot of what they ask you to do by bringing the awareness to this. The Community Partners of Hope and the Municipal Alliance organization that we're part of in the Pequannock Township Coalition, we've already done a lot of things. We've had many programs here recently. As you know, we had back in October, we had the Assistant Prosecutor and the Prosecutor from Morris County come and speak at Friendship Hall concerning the opiate epidemic that we're all experiencing nationwide. It's a public health issue. So trying to bring the information to the forefront about what that is and how to get help. We had our Hidden in Plain Sight event in January where we set up a teen's bedroom and allowed parents to come in and community members to come in and look and see what kinds of things they might be looking for, because there's so many ways to hide use. these days and how to start the conversation with your team. Just most recently, we had Chris Herron come in from the previous Boston Celtic player to come in and speak at our high school. We had them present to our high school in the afternoon, and we had a community open event, and we filled the auditorium. So we had approximately 700 people there from our town and surrounding towns to listen to that presentation. We have a human trafficking presentation that will be coming up in October. We have Chris Herron coming back to speak to our middle school in November. We have, we just booked him. Tall Cop Says Stop is coming in January to do a presentation for our staff at the school system, and a community-wide event in the evening where he'll do an environmental scan, community-wide, go around our town, see what kinds of issues, things that might be brought to the light, maybe more lighting, where the kids might be using, and things to look for. So that'll be in January. We do a lot of the things they ask us to do to bring awareness to this. We're having a partnership with the CARES van, which is out of Morris County Prevention is Key, where we will have a recovery specialist. Municipal Alliance is funding part of it along with our police department to have someone housed at the First Reformed Church once a week, so that if someone comes to the municipal court or to the police department looking for help with a substance issue or a mental health issue, they can be directed directly across the street to receive peer services right away. So there's a lot of different things that they ask to do. They ask to form a task force, which we really already have with our Community Partners for Hope and their initiative. So bringing forefront to the town, maybe with a newsletter, having some of our folks staff the tables at the street fair or the hoedown, just basically having people be more aware of the issues that are out there, because there are so many people, 1 in 4 suffer from a mental illness. By 2020, it is going to be the most disabling illness that is there. It's going to override heart attacks. Cancer is going to be the #1 reason why people miss work and people are not able to contribute by 2020. So it's a huge issue, and we need to bring evidence-based research, information out there as to how to get help, who to ask for, and that there is no shame in reaching out and asking for help. So that's basically what the county is trying to do countywide. The more municipalities that are involved, the better off it will be for everyone. So I thank you very much for your time. If you choose to pass a resolution that would go along with this, the county asks that you contact them. Lori Becker would be the contact, and they'll get a press release out, have some pictures here, and connect you onto the county website. So if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them. If not, I'm just going to thank you very much for your time, and you can just let me know if this is something you think you'd be interested in doing in a future date.
I have a question there. Yeah.
Sure.
Is any of this tied in with any of the hospitals or doctors? Because a lot of the stigma and drugs and mental health is all tied in with overprescribing. Mm-hmm. And I always see that as a disconnect with any of these. Are they going to support this and be part of this and stand up there with us?
Yes, Atlantic Health is already a partner in this, as is Newbridge Services, our psychiatrists that were with us. St. Clair's hospital system is already part of this. Yeah. On the website, there's a whole list of community partners, nonprofit, and organizations that are in the area that are partners with the county.
But it drills down to the doctor writing the prescription.
Absolutely.
Not just the organization.
Mm-hmm.
You know. And
there's a statewide effort. I believe it's in, I think it's October. Mm-hmm. It's Knockout Opiate Abuse, where they go door-to-door campaign. There are a lot of doctors that are already on board with this, but they are going to go around and talk to doctors specifically about this issue, because the opiate use comes specifically, or not specifically, but it's definitely tied to surgery where you get prescribed an opiate to deal with your pain. St. Joe's is one of the hospitals already that is not their first line of defense. They will try other things before they move to that. Mm-hmm. So yes.
And then
absolutely.
Also there's the law enforcement end that's locking people up rather than getting them. Some of the laws are so stringent that they wind up in jail as opposed to into a center where they need to be. Is there any of that connected with this?
Yes, that's why the prosecutor's office is involved in that. That's hitting on the substance abuse part of it. Mm-hmm. And our town police force is very, very involved in trying to make sure we can't lock people away out of this. Right. We need to get them help. So that's why we're going to have the CARES representative right across the street to hook people up with services the minute they come in. It'll be a choice that is given to them.
Right, thanks.
Okay. Anyone else?
No, but I'm sure we'd all agree that we will do that. And
Yeah, we're just about a year late, but yeah. Did I hear you right? This was started?
It started April 16th. They really hadn't rolled it out to the communities and the municipalities until just maybe January.
Okay, so we're not that late.
We're not that late. And actually,
And we've been trying to get you on the agenda.
you have. I was scheduled and then there was a snowstorm. We actually have someone from the health department presenting at Atlanta Health tonight for mental health first aid to fund that program. And that's an 8-hour program where people are trained in mental health first aid, which is the same thing as CPR. What to do as a general community member. Obviously, you're not a therapist, but how to recognize someone who might be having some kind of psychotic episode or suffering from depression in the community or in our own families as well.
Well, I've seen signs in other counties, like in Essex County, stigma-free.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen that, so they must have some experience with this program.
Bergen County is the first one that did it.
Mhm.
I don't think we're that far behind. We might be the third county that's doing this,
Okay.
so we're not too far behind.
Okay, well, I think it's great.
Yeah.
And what are those dates again for the next three things we have? Chris
We
coming
have
back?
Chris Herron's coming back in November. October is the human trafficking one.
Okay.
Chris Herron is November, and Tall Cop Says Stop is January 9th,
Of 18.
2018. You have to book these folks far in advance.
Yes.
The Chris Aaron one is only during the day for
That's
middle
just
school.
for the middle school. We are inviting Holy Spirit to bring their 7th and 8th grade over to that one also.
That was incredible, and in plain sight was amazing.
Thank you.
Scary, but eye-opening.
Mhm.
Which is good. That's all we want. Want to get the conversation started. So I'll leave.
Yeah, that conversation started.
Yeah, well, we had a lot of people that were shocked. We actually had somebody call and say that they had found something that they recognized from there. They went home and found it in their teen's bedroom. So
Now, that was so successful that other towns around here are asking you to put that on for those towns as well, correct?
yes, we have about 4 dates in 4 different towns that we're going, and they're going to give us money to keep that rolling because it was a very expensive undertaking to start with.
That was well worth it.
So, well, thank you. I'll pass that back to the committee.
Yeah.
And I have, packets up here if anybody else would like to see what this was all about. So thank you again for your time and allowing me to come and talk to you.
Thank you,
Thank
Mary.
you, Mary.
Mayor, the next presentation is from the Shade Tree. Sue was not able to make it. She's the
Okay.
chairperson of the Shade Tree. So we do have John here,
Yep.
who's going to help us along with this. We also have Mark and Horace, who are part of the Shade Tree. Mark, as you know, is in charge of the DPW, and Horace is doing all the tree work, as I like to say.
And
So-
before you guys start, something, we thought it was fitting, because since you're doing the community forestry plan for, was it 2017 to 2020, right?
21.
21, by the and Arbor Day is approaching.
Next Friday.
We wanted to read a proclamation into the record
Sure. You wanna read it from
for
here?
Arbor Day. No, that's fine, I can do it from here. And I'll present it to all you guys. We figured we'd start with this and then let you do your presentation, okay? So I'm going to read this into the record. Whereas in 1872, J. Sterling Morton proposed to the Nebraska Board of Agriculture that a special day be set aside for the planting of trees. And whereas the holiday called Arbor Day was first observed with the planting of more than 1 million trees in Nebraska, and whereas Arbor Day is now observed throughout the nation and the world, and whereas trees can reduce the erosion of our precious topsoil by wind and water, lower our heating and cooling costs, moderate the temperature, clean the air, produce oxygen, and provide habitat for wildlife. And whereas trees are a renewable resource giving us paper, wood for our homes, fuel for our fires, and countless other wood products. And whereas trees in our city increase property values, enhance the economic vitality of business areas, and beautify our community. And whereas trees, wherever they are planted, are a source of joy and spiritual renewal. Now therefore, Melissa Florence Lynch, Mayor of Pequannock Township, do hereby proclaim May 2nd, 2017 as Arbor Day in the Township of Pequannock, and I urge all citizens to celebrate Arbor Day and to support efforts to protect our trees and woodlands. And further, I urge all citizens to plant and care for trees to gladden the heart and promote the well-being of this and future generations. So I don't know who wants to be the keeper of the proclamation, but this was to be presented to all of you, and we thought it was fitting. So if you want to come up before he speaks, we decided just to do it in this order, and maybe somebody can just take a picture. Here, come stand.
I'll take a
Whoever
picture of
else
you, don't
wants to.
worry.
This is what I was told to do. You can all come up if you want.
Okay.
You want to come up?
Sure, planting 2 trees at Woodland Lake.
Good, good. And I'll ask Rich to just take a picture, and this is the proclamation.
Oh, I'm a motley group.
I know.
Got it, nice.
Thank you. Well, Rich will be in charge of that. Here you go. You guys take charge of that. And what I'd like to know is, in the past, are we doing anything for Arbor Day? We were talking about that in the past. The Environmental Commission and Green Team, didn't they used to do
Well,
special projects for Arbor Day?
I don't know if it was special for Arbor Day, but near Arbor Day, I think Joe Golden handed out those saplings.
Right,
So
that
that
was
was a
Arbor Day.
really
Yeah.
big deal.
Right, right.
So that was nice.
But we
So,
have to figure out what we're doing for this year.
Yeah, because we want to do something special for this year. So if anybody has any ideas, let us know. With that being said, take it away. Thank you.
Okay. Well, thank you for that introduction, and I wanted to be able to give you an overview of what this community forestry management plan is all about. I think this is your 3rd one. And basically, back in 1986, the state passed the Community Forestry Act in response to litigation that had been placed on municipalities and even individual shade tree commission members or even council members with trip and falls, sidewalk issues that were the result of municipal trees, or basically any kind of a hazardous tree situation that could arise in a lawsuit. So they basically came up with this Community Forestry Act that would give municipalities immunity from excessive lawsuits as long as they had a plan in place and that they were keeping up with getting CEUs every year, continuing education units, and they provided training for active people involved. Not every town has a shade tree commission. Sometimes it's an environmental commission, but there's some functional shade tree entity in most municipalities, sometimes it's just a public works committee. But in creating this act, and also in these Treasure Our Trees license plates, which I'm sure you've seen, it created a fund that could be issued as grants to municipalities for pruning, maintenance, planting, and a bunch of different categories. And in fact, Pequannock was successful in getting what they call a CSIP grant, Community Stewardship Incentive Program grant, in which a number of hazardous trees were removed in PV Park and elsewhere in the town. So basically, what I hope to do, and I know you all got a copy of the plan, and hopefully you've had a chance to look it over. There's a lot of this is just boilerplate that we have to, the liability statement. None of that really changed from the 2 prior plans. But what we did do in the plan was to show the progress that you've made and the successes and the failures. Bill Pereira was very instrumental in strengthening the plan, and he strengthening your shade tree program, and he handed over a great program to Mark, and Mark has only made it better than what it was. And having somebody like Forrest Harper, who he's got sap running through his veins, so you have a great town, you know that, and you have some great people working for you, and so basically this program, sets some goals for you to reach. So anyway, let's go through through this, and this is just the introduction here. The best friend on earth of man is the tree. which in a symbiotic relationship where we breathe out carbon dioxide and trees give us oxygen, trees are a pretty good thing. Okay, how about the next one?
All right.
One of the things that I do in my, when I write a community forestry management plan, I don't want to just give you theory, you know, you should do this, you should do that. The first thing I did was I conducted a windshield tree survey of the entire municipality, drove every street, looked at every tree, and I came up with a to-do list, which actually Public Works has started to implement already. Now, these were a bunch of trees that were basically dead. We've already, they're gone. They're gone. So the next slide.
Where is it?
And leaning trees. You know, this basically is, we don't know when this is going to fall, but, you know, in an ice storm or something, those trees are gone too.
Don't worry about it, they're gone.
Yeah. So I'm just kind of showing you how we're trying to be proactive. I gave you a list of trees that need pruning or removal, and you know, they're already on top of it. Okay, next one, forest. Oh wow.
That's pretty
That's
cool.
cool.
I've never seen that before.
All right, so you know, basically this is, I think, our third plan, and in the body of this report, we went through you know, the number of trees that you've removed over the last 10 years or so, the number of trees you planted, and you know, it's a fairly even balance. But you know, ideally we want to replace as many trees as we cut down. Some of the challenges that you have, you know, way back when it was fashionable, you know, 50, 60 years ago, we didn't know quite as much about maintenance of trees, and a lot of the trees that were planted in Pequannock were Norway maples. And we're going to see in some of the other slides, because Norway maple has it's like a time bomb. It lives 50 to 60 years, and then it's time to take them down. They get verticillium wilt, the road salt catches up to them, compacted soils catches up to them. And then also, we planted them under wires. And you're going to see some photos of some pretty mutilated Norway maples throughout the town. So basically, one of your goals over time will be to remove these mutilated Norway maples and replace them with appropriate trees that are under the wires. Another one of your challenges is that the founding fathers, I think it must have varied from one term to another, but originally, well, in your code of ordinances, when a street was developed, the idea was to plant the trees just beyond the right-of-way so we don't have to take care of them. Well, that was pretty good in the beginning because you were a farming community, you didn't have a lot of resources, but now that you have a different composition in town, when a tree dies and it's just outside the right-of-way, there's not a big incentive to replace it. So, basically, it's still the town's or the homeowner, the property owner's responsibility to remove it, but basically one of the changes that Bill Herrera implemented was, okay, we'll plant, if you remove the tree, we'll plant a tree in the right-of-way, and the town will be responsible to maintain it. So this has, as your tax base has changed and you're able to support a program like this, it keeps the beauty and of the town. And looking through your master plan, one of the goals is to, maintain your neighborhoods and maintain the shade and just the whole nice community that the trees kind of make. You take them for granted. It's like mom and apple pie. Oh, the tree. We have trees, but when we don't have trees, it's pretty bland. So anyway, going through the some of the other challenges, you have at the moment you have really great equipment, but in time that aerial bucket truck's going to need to be replaced, and that's like having an army of men. You can maintain a street tree 365 days a year when you have an aerial bucket truck, but if you're climbing it with a rope and saddle and the tree's all icy, there are so many other uses, hanging banners, even maintaining buildings. So having the bucket truck, which Bill brought in, has been a great asset, and it's really the backbone of your shade tree program. So basically, not a lot has changed here. The map is the same. You've maintained training. There's what we call core training, where you're supposed to have at least one employee and one volunteer have core training, and then there's 8 CEUs that have to be accrued every year. I think we're ready for the next one. All right, so here's what I was talking about with the maples and the lawn clearance. Now, years ago we could kind of negotiate a little bit with Jersey Central Power Line and say, do you have to cut it that severe? You come through every 4 years. If you're coming through every 4 years, what's the biggest cut you should be making? Maybe a 2-inch branch you're removing. But now, since 9/11, the line clearance standards from the Board of Public Utilities are even stricter than they were before. So when they come through, we find that they're taking 10-inch, 12-inch diameter cuts out of these trees, and they just can't take it. So at some point in time, you have to say, this is no longer an asset; it's a liability, because all the weight is on the house side, and in an ice storm, what's going to happen? The tree's going to end up on the front lawn. Next one, I think. There's a real contrast. As you come out your front door, hey, the tree looks great. But as you pull out of the driveway, I mean, this is ugly. So, what we do today in replacing the trees, we plant trees that are compatible with wires. They'll grow to be 25 feet in height, they'll grow into cable, they'll grow into telephone, but they don't get up into the power. Okay, let's keep going. It's all these special effects, it's great. So here we are, these are small trees that are compatible with overhead wires, and basically, you do have some sidewalks, not a lot of sidewalks, but we try to plant trees that aren't going to be really aggressive. There's a booklet put out by the New Jersey Shade Tree Federation called Trees for New Jersey Streets, and it gives you species of trees to use based upon the width of the planting belt, the distance between the curb and the sidewalk. So there's a whole range of different species to use, and of course the ideal situation is you have no overhead wires and you have a lawn situation, because the tree roots have a great opportunity to expand, and trees can mature to more of a specimen quality tree. I mean, trees naturally don't grow in a lawn situation. They want to be in the woods. They want to have the leaves falling down and decomposing and enriching the soil. So we ask trees to do an awful lot. They've got road salts, they've got compaction from people walking and cars and everything, but they may not live quite as long in an suburban situation as they might in the woods, but we've adapted our management techniques to maximize the species and the years of service that we usually get out of trees. You've made a new recent acquisition, and there are a lot of trees there that are in need of maintenance. There's some very unique trees over there this one sugar maple in the front is going to need some work, but there's some other silver maples that are less desirable trees that over time you're going to want to remove those, and as you gradually clean up the property. And they've been using some of the open space funds to conduct maintenance on some of your parks and your open space. You've acquired a lot of land, and now it's time to maintain it. I think we're going to see one. Is the Pequannock Park coming up yet? Not yet, but this is what street is that, Forrest?
That's
Village Road, yeah.
Right, that's Village Road, and again, I talked about the monoculture of Norway maples. Well, Village Road has got London Planes, and well, you know, London Planes are a pretty tough tree. They can take a lot of abuse, but you know, if you by planting a monoculture, you end up, you know, like the gypsy moth attacking the oaks back in the 60s and early 70s, and you know, whenever something exotic comes in, like is this Ramapo yet?
Yes.
This is Ramapo. You know, Ramapo, you had the challenge of Jersey Central Power and Light cutting the trees, and I think that was really what spurred the resurgence of the Shade Tree Commission in town here was the outcry from the pruning. Well, now we have emerald ash borer that came in on shipping crates from China, and it started in the Great Lakes area and it's worked its way across Ohio, Pennsylvania. It's in New Jersey. It's very costly to inoculate these trees against the emerald ash borer. It's about $10 a diameter inch. So if you have a tree that's, some of these trees are 20 inches in diameter or more, you're gonna be spending, $200 a tree to protect it for 2 years, and then you have to re-inoculate it all over again. So you're at a crossroads here with these ash trees on Ramapo. And there's a number of them that really need to be removed even now. But there's decay in there, and we've kind of had kid gloves on Ramapo because we don't want to start anything as an issue. But basically, I mean, in Montclair today, where the emerald ash borer has been found, they're cutting down ash trees rather than treating them. So this is a kind of an administrative decision that this body has to make. What are we going to do with the ash trees on Ramapo? Fortunately, Ramapo is really the only street that you have exclusive ash trees on. There's a few scattered around town. A lot of them are older trees, but Holy Spirit Church, their whole parking lot's full of ash trees. So that's going to be a huge challenge for the church. But at least on Ramapo, this is something where we could put ribbons around the trees that we think you ought to maybe remove at this point. And then as you remove, you're going to replace. But you're not going to have the same effect, because where you have the wires on one side of the street, you're going to have smaller compact trees on the other side. We can plant larger trees, but this is one of a current issue that really needs to be decided on your level. Next one, I guess. Okay, so Purdue has come out with a system over here where if the tree looks like this is you want to save this tree. If it looks like this, no, not so much. This tree is a marginal tree where, basically, if you see emerald ash borer just attacking a tree, you have at least 1 year to initiate your program. But I would say, just to save all the ash trees on Ramapo, you're going to spend probably about $8,000 every 2 years just to inoculate the trees. So I know in Summit, I work in Summit on Tuesdays, and Summit decided that we're just going to start removing the trees that are of marginal value now, because to me the larger problem with ash trees is ash yellows, which is spread by leaf hoppers, and it's a vascular disease, kind of like Dutch elm disease, where it shuts down the whole plumbing system of the tree, plugs everything up, and over maybe a 5-year period, an ash tree will die. And that's been happening in Pequannock probably for the last 20 years or so. And there's no cure for ash yellows. So you really have to have a pretty nice specimen tree, I think, to really get a good value for doing the inoculation and going through all that effort. Okay, next one, I guess. We've done some over in Woodland Park. There were a number of hazardous trees up around where the little gazebo is, and if you go there today, it's really beautiful. By removing these trees and opening it up, making it safer, a lot of these trees were really accidents waiting to happen. This was a tree in, was it Green? The whole top of the tree was rotted, and this is a handicap parking space. So that tree is gone now too, right?
No.
Oh, okay, it's not there, sorry, I asked you.
That will be one of our next.
Okay, and then, this again is woodland. And then along Jackson Avenue? Alexander Avenue, you know, there's a lot of tree hazards on the, that they can reach with the bucket, and, you know, private contractor will probably have to do some assistance over on Alexander. All right, next one. Okay, this is a aquatic park, and I was very brave and parked my truck here. This tree is really shot, and you know, there's a number of trees down in that area that really just need to be removed. But you know, it doesn't get a lot of use down there, but still, it's public property, and you know, it's something that needs to be addressed. And you know, you haven't had the ability to respond to things like that in the past, and now you do, you know, having a team led by Forrest Harper. Okay, next one. This was a great investment, your stump grinder. This will give you, you know, at least 20 years of service, and it really has enabled us to clean up the town. And part of my windshield tree survey did list locations of existing stumps. So that's a nice project for the summer when, you know, sometimes you know, people are on vacation, but you always have a small crew, and, you know, nobody's, you know, screaming, line my ball field, plow my snow, you know, get the leaves out of the park. This is something that I always say there's windows of opportunity in public works where you can expand the crew. You give them some cross-training, how to run a chipper, how to run a chainsaw, and you know, between snowstorms, or you know, in the summer when you know, when the crew and the demand for work is less, the grass is not growing so fast, it doesn't have to be cut every single week. You can do things like grind stumps or do branch elevation on younger trees. We're ready.
I'd like to make a comment about this particular slide. That's Rockledge Terrace. The wind took that tree down with a loud crash. The newspaper boy just went through there 20 seconds before with his father. The tree, when it came down, was huge and blocked the road, and they couldn't even get out of there. But somebody could have been killed on this one. That's how close that one was.
Yeah. Well, you know, even on a calm day, things can happen, and you know, we don't have X-ray vision, you know, but you know, a dead tree, a tree that's been compromised by maybe you know, cutting roots to fix a sidewalk, or you know, just a windstorm where there's a crotch that is split, or a branch that's dangling. What?
I don't mean to interrupt. This tree was actually a seemingly perfectly healthy Bradford pear tree that when you drove up Rockledge Terrace, you would never have thought to take this tree down. It just came over in a large windstorm.
What kind of a tree was it?
Bradford pear.
They
Flower
have
pear.
shallow roots, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so the wind just
Yeah.
hit it right.
And yeah, there's actually a sidewalk issue there too, so
Yeah.
I guess it's been fixed now. Okay. All right, next one. Okay, this is down in PV Park, and we've gone all through the picnic areas and done a lot of pruning down there, so it was a great effort to really make it safe for opening of the summer season. Okay, just some of the statistics which you know, are in the summarized here, but also found in the plan itself. bucket truck. And and also, you know, you've sent the public work, I guess at least 2 employees for line clearance.
Yeah, we have 3.
3, you know, so, you know, you don't want your people working up an electric primary, but secondary services, you know, clearing house service, you know, basically Jersey Central Power and Light is responsible for, you know, clearing the large electric primary, and then, you know, your own crew can take it from there. But the secondary is the distribution that goes to your house, as opposed to the highest wires up on the pole are electric primary, and that's where the big juice is, where, you know, somebody could really get hurt if some catastrophe should occur. I guess we're ready for the next one. This is the end. This is the end. So, in the Community Forestry Management Plan, the section that the state looks at, I guess Section 8, which is budget information, and Section 9, which actually gives you some specific targets over. The plan's good for 5 years. So, you know, when you have a decent program in place, you know, a lot of it is just ongoing programs to be continued, but they always want you to come up with something new. So it's sometimes we have to rack our brains a little bit, but, you know, just facing the emerald ash borer crisis, facing replacing trees under overhead utilities, you know, these are all, you know, and just, you know, budgeting to, you know, to fund replacement trees at least on the on a 1-to-1 basis. You know, the trees we've removed, we replaced at least 1-to-1. And sometimes you get a grant, or there's some benevolent factor that enables you to plant more trees that you took down. But at any rate, one of the things that I include in my when I do a plan is this appendix, which is not required, but, you know, basically when I did the plan with Bill the first time, you know, we developed policies, standard policies. You know, these are why we remove a tree. It's dead, diseased, it's dying, it's structurally unsound, and then, you know, okay, you want a tree planted, but you already have a tree. You know, we put them a distance apart from each other. We don't want to waste a resource. If you have a sewer lateral problem, tree roots growing in your sewer, what's the policy on that? And Mark's already used that quite a bit. So, you know, basically, you don't want to reinvent the wheel. And the more you can put in black and white, it's like, you know, these problems, maintenance requests come up on a daily basis. And when you have policies and procedures in place, it just makes your job so much easier. And, you know, the faces change on the council, the faces change in public works, but, you know, these policies hold true. And it's, you know, I mean, I'm going to say this, even though it probably doesn't happen in Pequannock, but it has happened in other towns that I've worked with. I've worked for about 30 different towns. It's election time. A candidate is knocking on a door, and somebody wants to get rid of a perfectly healthy tree. Well, we have a policy, a tree removal policy, and, you know, if it's a nuisance tree, okay, it's a sweet gum. It's dropping these sticky, you know, gumballs on my lawn, and I can't rake them anymore, I'm too old. Well, we have a nuisance tree policy where, okay, it's a healthy tree, it's against our town policy to remove a healthy tree, but, you know, if the Shade Tree Commission and Public Works decides, okay, we'll allow you to remove the tree at your own expense, as long as you replace it with a healthy tree. Here's our nuisance tree policy, you know. You know, it's not fair to the taxpayers of the town, when there's dead trees that we can't get to take down a perfectly healthy tree because somebody doesn't want to rake leaves. So we have all these policies in place, and, you know, they can change over time, but, you know, I've included them in this appendix, you know, to make your jobs easier, basically, you know, and make Mark's jobs easier. Mark's job easier. Another thing which actually we weren't even aware of, but you know, your recreation program has had this cherry tree and bench gifting program, which we want to expand to other species of trees that could be planted on public property as a memorial or as a dedication. But you already had this procedure in place, and basically Public Works wasn't even aware of it until I started looking on the website. I said, "What is this? You know, let's take this ball and run with it." So anyway, you included in the report is my windshield tree survey. We included you know, 4 of your parks this time around too, and probably in 5 years we'll include a few more parks. But at this point, I think I've said enough, and you know, maybe you have some questions. I don't know.
I would just like to say something real quick. You know, I'm new to the Shade Tree Commission. I think this is my 4th meeting I went to, something like that. But it's a very important group of people who, or it's a very important organization that tries to do what's right for the trees in the town, because they're always getting requests for, oh, please take this tree down, don't do this, don't do that. So they try to make the right decisions. You know, their goal is to not take trees down if they don't have to. But they're really caring about the trees in our town and want to do the right thing for everyone. And hats off to both Mark and to Forrest, because they do an outstanding job. So that's my comment. You know.
Good.
Anybody else?
Yeah, I have a comment, and it's very appropriate. It's funny because yesterday on the news there was, I guess it was Bedminster, where they
We talked about that yesterday.
a 600-year-old tree.
Yeah.
Basking Ridge.
A basking ridge.
Magnificent
600
tree.
years old.
Because there's something that I would like to see added to the plan would be something on historic trees. You know, an inventory of historic trees. You know, you talk about the Martinberry House, and I'm sure that on that 2.5 acres, there's some trees that maybe we should be looking at and
Sure.
taking care of because they are 100, 200 years old.
And some, a lot of towns have identified what they would call landmark trees. And
Right.
actually, the Verona Environmental Commission, if you go on the Verona website, they have like a virtual arboretum where you can see their landmark
pictures of
trees
them,
from
yeah.
Verona. And I know
That's a good idea.
Summit has been working on a project like that too.
Because I can think of several. There's a beautiful tree here by the Manse.
Oh yeah, I'm sure that's an old.
Yeah, and then there's the one by your own, your childhood home, that big tree. That's a giant tree. I don't know if that's on the street or what.
That is
That's
close to the
gotta be-
street.
That's gotta be a landmark tree also. Yeah, a giant one. So I just think that that's something that, I don't know if it's part of this plan or something the Historic Commission or Environmental Commission takes up and adds that to that. I just thought that'd be a great upgrade.
That would be a future one.
Yeah.
Obviously, that's not going to happen in this plan.
We can
but
do the
that's a
work
great-
and add it 5
Right.
years
Yeah,
later.
you can add it to your goals, so you can actually
It's
add it
actually
to
a
this
good idea,
report if
because
you
we do
wish.
have some beautiful trees in town there.
We do, and just
You do.
to watch them and take care of them and see if there's certain, you know, that we want to take care of them, you know, things like that. And then also, just based on reading this and stuff, I just started looking at some other things that are on other town websites, and some places have a tree farm. Like if they don't want to replace the tree where it's taken down, they can have a place, because we've bought a lot of open space. We have a lot of empty places where you can plant trees instead of putting a tree underneath wires.
We had that.
I think we do have something.
But we did do a little bit of that.
Library now. Yeah, we use the desk for the 3-4
Well, that's
bucks.
expanded.
Library.
But I thought that plan was really great, and you could see where it's evolved, and it'll just keep evolving. Yeah.
Good job. Anybody else?
Thank you.
Okay.
Great.
Well, thank you for the opportunity to speak, and, you know, basically where you go from here, they really need like a resolution from this governing body accepting this plan, and then the mayor has to sign 2 copies and mail it down to Trenton, and as well as an electronic version. So, but Tanya, the secretary of Public Works, I've written probably 30 of these plans. Tanya, her editing skills are just phenomenal. She really made, you know, I mean, I was amazed at what she came up with and made this much better report than I had originally written. I'll tell you. So you got a good one, Mark. You got a really good person over there.
I offered Mark my secretary too. I said, if you can't get it done, my secretary will get it done.
Tanya's
At
super.
this point,
I
is this
think she
done,
really is.
or can
This
it
is done.
still be made at this
No,
point?
this has, we're
This is done.
approving
This
it.
is it.
You're
Yeah,
approving
it's on me,
a
it's on
resolution.
me.
Yeah, yeah, I just wanted to make sure. Yeah, no, I just wanted to make
Okay,
sure that
I've
this
done
was
my
the
job.
final. 'cause I
Thanks,
had-
John.
You did good. No, I knew there was a couple of versions that got sent around, but we got the final one. Good.
Mark or Forrest have anything to say, or?
Anybody else?
No, you guys are like,
Covered everything, right?
You're not gonna tell them they're planting trees? You're planting trees on Arbor Day, right?
Yes, I said that.
Oh, you did, okay.
Out there, yeah. That's what I like.
Woodland Lake, you said, right? Okay, great.
thanks, guys.
Thank you so much. Very informative. Okay, at this point,
Bars.
You guys can go.
if
you can stay if you want.
Watch how quick they go.
Thank you very much. Thanks for all the hard work.
Thank you.
All right, at this point, next on the agenda is reports from volunteers. Are there any reports or comments from volunteers? Louise, if you can come up.
Hi, Louise Marchese of 16 Rome Road. Dave, good to see you back.
Thank you.
Speaking on behalf of the Flood Advisory Committee, we had our public event last night, and I think it was a great success. I got a lot of positive feedback. And Ryan, Councilman Hurd, I want to thank you. Without you, we wouldn't have had audio, and without audio, we wouldn't have had an event. So thank you very much. Tomorrow, getting back to the event, I counted up 145 had actually signed in, and many came as couples. So we know we definitely had over 150 people. So it was a good turnout, I thought. Tomorrow evening is the meeting of the Economic Development Committee, and at that time we have a guest speaker, which is Mike Fabrizio, and he's from Pumpton Lake's bid program, and he's going to come to speak to us about that program. It's funny that we just had the presentation about the trees. I was on the environmental committee about 25 years ago, and we were the ones that got it started about saving trees in town. Thank you.
Great job. Yeah, it was well attended last night.
Okay, anyone else? Reports from volunteers? Nothing, Tom? No?
You don't want to talk about the BioBlitz, Tom?
You want me to?
Yes, I want
You
to.
can give a, yeah, tell us about the BioBlitz.
If
You
you
guys
need
have
any
been
help, I
doing
got
that.
notes here.
Tom Andreas, 6 Elm Road, Pompton Plains, Secretary for the Pequannock Environmental Commission. This Sunday morning, from about 8:30 till 1, we're going to have a mini BioBlitz around Woodland Lake Park. What the mini BioBlitz is we have experts coming in, and the experts are watershed ambassadors from New Jersey, and each one is going to lead a group into Woodland Park, and they're going to inventory what they see. One is looking at plants and trees, another one's looking at animals, another group is going to look at the water, the macroinvertebrates, to get the idea of health of the water in Woodland Lake. And there's one other group which slips me right now, but there's going to be 4 groups going in, and it's going to be volunteers. We're looking for people who might be interested in coming out with this and surveying the Woodland Lake Park. We're going to park in the PV Park parking lot. We'll sign in around 8:30 and go actually in the park at around 9. So we got some people going already, and it's looking pretty good. We got the watershed ambassadors lined up, so it should be a very good time, and we should find out what's going on, how Woodland Lake Park is, what we have there. And one of the reasons we're doing it is to create like a benchmark. Say we do it this year, Woodland Lake Park, and then you do it again, say 5 years at Woodland Lake Park. You can see how things in the park have changed. You know, you don't see this kind of plant anymore. You don't see these macroinvertebrates anymore. Or you do see something that's positive. Some other macroinvertebrates might be coming back to indicate that the water's healthier. So it's not just looking for problems, it's looking for changes. And we want to know what's going on. If it's going up or down. And then maybe next year we can do a different park, and cycle around that way.
Yeah. So people can attend if they want.
Absolutely. Anybody's welcome to attend.
Right.
We have our email, ptec at beqtwp.org for the Environmental Commission, and if somebody just emails us, we'd love to hear it.
Yeah,
You know,
Tom, you've
sign
done
up.
this a couple times, the bio blitzes.
Well, we haven't
One year
done,
we did
I've
one-
done it personally with my
Yeah.
son. We've went to bio blitzes in other towns, so we
Right.
do have experience with that, yes.
Yeah.
But this is the first one we're doing here in our town,
With experts coming
With
in.
with experts
Yeah.
coming in.
I remember the one year I had done something, but it was down on the stream that we went to
Yes,
the Glen.
we did that with the
Remember that?
watershed, the
Right.
watershed ambassador assigned to our area.
Yeah.
We went down and we looked at the macroinvertebrates. We've done it by Rich's condo when he lived in the Glens.
That's how I met you.
Right, yes.
I
What are you
remember.
doing down there?
What are you doing down there?
We're all in the water.
But, and the purpose of those surveys is to see the health of the stream. You know, by looking and seeing what macroinvertebrates live in the stream, you can judge how healthy or not healthy the stream is.
Yeah.
And then you get an idea because all that stuff is recorded with the state. So when they go back later on and look at that, they can compare and see how things have changed. Maybe they've gotten better, maybe they've gotten worse, but it, you know, unless you document these things, you don't know what's going on.
Great.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you
Thank you
all.
so much.
Thanks, Tom.
You're welcome.
Okay, anyone else report from volunteers? No? Moving along, we're going to go into public comment. This public comment period will be limited to a total of 30 minutes. An additional period for public comment is reserved later in the meeting. Individuals are requested to limit their questions and comments to 3 minutes. If anyone would like to address the council, please raise your hand. No one? No, anyone? Okay. Huh?
Everybody's happy.
Everybody's happy? Okay, so next on the agenda is the public hearing for the 2017 municipal budget. Mr. Holberg, do you have any comments about the public hearing for the budget?
Not really.
Okay.
I just want to acknowledge Val, who's here tonight, our auditor, and both Holly and Chris for the time that they spent in my absence putting this all together. There is one change to your agenda at the end of the resolutions. This is based on the state's review of our budget, and they're requiring, they actually found a typo.
Yeah, okay, that was, I asked Carol before what that was.
I had to look at it twice. I was like, wait a minute.
So nothing
Change.
changes, the numbers don't change, they
It
are
was
just titled correctly now. So that amendment will be done tonight as part of the resolutions, and then would adopt in 2 weeks.
Okay, are there any comments from council?
No.
Nope.
No, they read it.
Okay, is there a motion to open the public hearing on the 2017 municipal budget?
I'll make that motion.
Can I have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, if anyone in the audience has questions or comments on this budget, please come to the microphone and identify yourself. Anyone? Okay, is there a motion to close the public hearing
I'll
on the
make that motion.
2017 budget? And a second?
Second.
Can I have a roll call, Carol?
Mr. Hurd?
Yes.
Mr. Cole?
Yes.
Mr. Phelan?
Yes.
Ms. Winterfield?
Yes.
Mayor Florence Lynch?
Yes. Ordinances for introduction. We don't have any ordinances to introduce this evening. So the next item on the agenda is resolutions for approval. And I'm going to ask Ms. Marsh to read the titles of each of the resolutions, please.
Beginning with R 2017-92, authorizing release of designated escrow deposits. R 2017-93, approving the designated special event permit application for Holy Spirit Carnival. There was an error in the original that was been corrected. R 2017-94, approving the township's 2017 to 2021 community forestry management plan. R 2017-95, approving payment of the itemized claims as set forth on the April 20th, 2017 bill list, and 2017-96 to amend the 2017 municipal budget. And I'm going to ask if you could do a separate vote on the amendment.
On 96.
On 96, yes.
On 96, the budget, okay.
So why don't we do that one first?
All right, any comments on the resolutions or on this resolution? No?
No.
All right, is there a motion to adopt?
I'll make a motion to adopt 2017-96.
I'll second.
Roll call?
Mr. Hurd?
Yes.
Mr. Cole?
Yes.
Mr. Phelan?
Yes.
Ms. Winterfield?
Yes.
Mayor Lynch?
Yes. All right, and then for the other resolutions, is there a motion to adopt resolutions 92 through 95?
I'll make a motion to adopt 2017-92 through 2017-95.
I'll second.
All right, roll call, please.
Mr. Hurd?
Yes.
Mr. Cole?
Yes.
Mr. Phelan?
Yes.
Ms. Winterfield?
Yes.
Mayor Florence Lynch?
Yes. Okay. See, we're done with you. Next on the agenda would be discussion items. No items for discussion this evening. So the next item is reports and notices. We don't have any reports or notices on this evening either. So we're going to go right into the manager's report. Mr. Holberg?
Okay. Bids were open today for the library edition. The apparent low bid coming in at $321,000. We will review the bids and request that the library make a written recommendation of their determination. Council will take formal action on that in a couple weeks. Have dates of some townwide events that are coming up. The kickoff meeting for the FEMA elevation grant was held last week, which will start the formal process of doing that work and getting those homes elevated. Renovations to the Henning House should be complete over the next couple of weeks, and we anticipate that fire safety will occupy the space sometime in June.
Everything's going along well in the renovations there? I see them working.
So far, so good.
Good. Okay. Next item on our agenda is council reports and any announcements. Can I start with you? Councilman Hurd?
Sure. I was not here at the last meeting, but I did want to say about the Chris Herring. I know that she brought it up, but it was an incredible success. 750 people, it was packed, standing room only, and it was actually very, very interesting. He's a very good speaker. Senior Advisory Committee, I do want to make sure that it's out there that Dial-A-Ride can be used for the seniors as long as they schedule it 72 hours in advance. So if there's a function at Senior House, they can call that and get down there to do it. But any health-related things take precedence, so you could possibly be bumped or just inconvenienced a little bit because somebody needs to get to a hospital appointment or something like that. So priority is always that. Trash cans. So Little League has started, as well as softball. You know, there's a lot of controversy lately going around with the trash can, and there's a lot of trash, specifically on the ball fields behind my house. One thing I did notice when I was picking up the trash, that also goes into my yard, is there aren't any signs. So did we consider anything about just, you know, signs that, you know, just like campers, you know, you hike in, you take out kind of this. There aren't any signs on any of the ball fields that we're playing on. So.
All right, we did purchase signs, carry in, carry out.
So it's just not.
They're,
Signs up at Greenview
yeah,
Park.
maybe-
Yes.
and perhaps we need
Why
more.
not on the
It's just,
schools?
I just noticed it and I was just looking for it. Now we are, just to clarify things, when there is events, we are putting out trash cans.
No.
No, parks that have food service or in a specific event that has food service, like
Right.
Hoedown.
That's
But-
when garbage cans are going out.
Yes.
And then when, like, Little League, when we've got the stations open, either at Washington Park or Hillview, we take, the garbage cans will be taken out and you will be able to throw.
Well, Washington will have them at and around the snack stand.
Okay,
So it's not like there aren't any there.
so
And
they'll
the-
exist all the time?
Yes.
They
Okay.
just put them away and then come
Okay.
out.
And then same thing over at Hillview, by that snack stand?
If it's being operated.
Right, during, so when they're open at games.
Yeah, they typically have not been open. Is the
We just
Little
opened
League
up.
operating now?
Yeah, we just opened Saturday, and there was some, and I
I'll
will,
double check on that because for a long time it was not being
Oh, yeah.
used regularly.
Yeah, they are.
yeah, no, we have it staffed this year, we're gonna have people, and I wasn't sure if it was just an issue that nobody could find the garbage can, or something like that.
I think they were
So we
all
just have to make
confused
sure.
about.
It was
what to
brought
do.
up to us when we were there as well. We went upstairs after the parade.
Yeah, they didn't know if they should drag the garbage cans out and then bring them in. They didn't know what to do.
Well, ideally, we'd like to keep them around the food service. So if people have trash, bring the trash to the can, not the can to the trash.
Right.
That's part of the point of,
But even when they close up, they want to know, do they bring the cans in?
Is it their
Or do they leave them
responsibility?
out? Like, they didn't know what to do.
okay.
Yeah.
We'll
Just
clarify that. We're hoping that people aren't missing the overall point that they should be bringing their own trash out of the park entirely.
I think
So
they're
this is
all
supposed to
confused.
be, getting people to be aware of what to bring into the park so that the park stay clean.
So I'm a little confused. If I go into the park with garbage, or I generate garbage, and I don't see any garbage cans around, shouldn't I take it out? Or-
Yes.
Yes.
Right,
Absolutely.
so that's common sense, you would think.
Yeah, but go behind,
Go behind Ryan's house?
yeah, Hillview 7, I guess it is, and it's a mess. It's an
Yeah, but we
absolute
probably
mess.
should do some training with the schools, because they don't know.
I don't
Because
we
necessarily think it's the schools, to be honest with you.
No, well, it's but we
Sundays
play on the
are being
fields
out
at
of
the
town.
schools though.
Yeah, you do need to educate,
Yeah.
we need to educate.
Make sure that
It's
we reach
amazing,
out to
though,
the schools
you know?
again. I'm not sure where that miscommunication is,
I don't
but they should have known.
I believe Little League was notified.
Yeah, they were notified, but the
They were
point of
confused.
They were
clarification
confused.
was
They were really
taking
confused.
it out from, the snack stands and stuff like that, because then the parents were, we're trying to sell hot dogs and such, and then the parents are coming and buying the hot dogs, and then they have the carton that it's in, and then it's, what do I do? So we actually saw a dip in sales because of that, because they just don't want to deal with that. So we just want to make sure that, yes, garbage cans will be provided while the snack stand is open and then taken in, and that makes sense for that, but anything you bring, water bottles, whatever, make sure you bring.
It's your
carry
turn to
in,
bring
bring it
snacks,
in, you
bring
bring
a
it.
garbage bag with you.
So in hiking, we say carry in, carry out.
Right.
So,
The only
Hiking
thing-
scouts, whatever, yeah.
The only thing I wanted to add to that was it Lisa Nelson that's in charge?
Yes.
Yeah,
I
so
think it
Kathy
was.
and I were talking to Lisa Nelson after the parade, and she said, that's what she said, she was totally confused on, she goes, do I bring the garbage cans out, or is somebody else putting them out? Do I bring them in?
Right,
And she
right.
didn't know what
What to do.
to do,
Okay.
so. and-
Um,
and
So
then-
now we know what to do though,
I'll
take them
have-
out, and then put it back.
I'll,
What will they do
Peter,
with the garbage though? I mean, take them out and put them out. Are they gonna wait till they're emptied? Are they gonna go empty them?
I'll,
They had a
Peter,
lot of questions.
Yeah, a lot.
Fine.
She was gonna go, she was
And
gonna go
Melissa and I
back.
did not know how to answer
sounds
them.
like they're making it more complicated than
Yeah.
it needs to be. I'll have Peter reach out to
Yeah.
the leaders of the organizations. What I would encourage is that the organizations themselves kind of make a list of things and talk to Peter.
Okay.
Okay.
So, all the comments and feedback and problems are being handled
So it goes
by
back to
one
Yeah.
place.
Not on.
So I can
Uh,
do
You're
that.
not doing
Peter,
that. We
Peter
didn't
or
know.
Barbara.
Okay.
All I knew
Either
about
one.
garbage, I forgive me.
And same thing with individuals. If residents around, like your neighbors, if they're having issues, call, because we want to know about it. The point of this trial year is for us to
Yeah,
understand
it's
it.
education.
And if we don't know that people are unhappy or having a problem, all we know is how much trash we're breaking up.
Dave, if I can make a comment on that, I mean, the trash cans at Washington Park should stay out, because there's no sense of dragging them in full
No,
of garbage.
Right, I
Because the
agree.
DPW guys are not gonna be able to get in there.
Right.
They may have a key, but leave them out for the
At least during the
season.
season, yeah.
Let the
Right.
DPW guys go and pick it up.
Because there's a health issue bringing the trash
Yeah.
back in.
Of course.
Right.
Initially, when we discussed this, in any place there was a snack stand, a place where food was going to be
It
served,
was gonna be cans.
there were going to be cans. PV, Hillview has been on and off
Right.
in terms of whether that was being used or not, but Washington, and Greenview, to the extent that there are formal activities like ODAM going on.
But I think it'd probably be just easier just to tell them, leave the cans out. We'll send the guys around to pick them up. and at the end of the season, we'll put them away.
All Peter has to do is read Facebook.
Yeah, yeah.
This long.
There you go.
Yeah, I guess the one thing, like you said, coordinating, I guess Peter should be the point person
Yeah.
that they give all the feedback to. He can maybe give us an update, because if you remember, we said we were gonna do this for a trial period for 6 months, so we need to reevaluate it, you know.
And I'm sure Little League has the email addresses of all the head coaches, and they should be sending that
We do.
email out to the head coaches so they all understand what the policy is.
Well, it's new.
Again, we're 1 week in. We
Yeah.
just
Right.
opened
It's not a big
it
And any place
Saturday,
that
so-
doesn't have signs, you'll make sure those signs go up. Okay,
It's new.
Perfect.
thank you.
I do have another question.
I think
Last
you used
question.
up
That is
All right,
right.
just last question. So, at flood meeting, I know Melissa's gonna talk about this, so I don't wanna take it away from her. But I do have a question about the new flood map. So there does seem to be some, the new flood maps that are coming out, possibly adopted, whatnot. I guess the question is, that's going to increase the homeowners that are in the flood area?
Floodway.
Floodway. Is that something, I mean, do we send letters out to them? Does FEMA send letters? Like, any clue of how they get noticed about that? Or we just don't know what's going on with the new maps?
We have been hesitant to impose the new maps on homeowners when we have serious issues with
Yeah,
the mapping itself.
right. We don't agree with the mapping.
Correct. And we think we have data to support that. So we have discussed with FEMA, and we will at the appropriate time, because they haven't been officially,
Adopted.
well, even
Really?
released to Morris County yet.
Right.
We're going to challenge the maps. There's a section in the state code that says, in terms of plan review, you need to use the most current data available. Some would argue that those maps, even though they're not adopted, are the most current data available. So there are some review agencies at DEP and elsewhere that would say that those maps are regulatory when it comes to additions or things that people are trying to do with their homes. Now, Joe has been trying to work through most of those issues with the things that he can do locally.
Right.
But by the time something gets to the state, they're going to apply their rules. So we have to be careful not to, you know,
I want
cause
the
a
homeowners,
situation that's going to have the state give us a bad ruling.
well, I want the
That makes
homeowners to
sense.
understand this is a very complex situation. And I don't want them to be scared, but I don't want them to think like we're trying to hide something.
Right.
It's just, we're trying to figure it out also.
And we're trying not to make it worse.
Right.
We understand that the worst case scenario is going to be a problem for them and for us. And we're trying to avoid imposing that any earlier than it might otherwise be imposed.
Okay, excellent. I just wanted to get some clarification. That's all I have.
Great, okay. Let's see, Councilman Cole, we'll go to you.
Down here.
I was gonna go to you, but I decided to go
Go ahead.
to It was.
Just wanted to remind everyone that this Saturday will be the fishing contest at Woodland Lake. The date changed from last week, so it is this Saturday. Enjoy it. Fair Housing will meet tomorrow night, and that's all I have.
Okay. And Councilman Phelan,
Well, you heard about the forestry plan,
we did, it was great, thank you for your input.
and, well, unfortunately, I got a call from my job during the whole thing, but that's all I have for now.
All right, and Councilman, Deputy Mayor, I should say.
Okay, that's on both, right? The Environmental Commission met, and this is one of the ideas of what they want to do. There's a program with the, you know, the Trex that they use for decking? You can collect plastic bags and plastic things that are wrapped around things, and you can earn like a free bench and things like that. They provide the containers. So I just wanted to like kind of float this by you and see if it's something you'd be interested in us pursuing or allowing us to do. You know, they give 2 or 3 containers and you have to collect, I think, what is it, 500 pounds within 6 months?
500.
So this company, they give the
Yeah, there's a company
That gives the.
that does that. Yeah, their company name's not on here. Yeah, I don't have it with me. But it's just something we're talking about wanting to do, so I just wanted to make sure there wasn't anything negative that anybody would think about it.
Well, are we talking about trash cans here?
No,
Because it's
they
gonna
would
be
get
a
these
problem.
containers from someplace.
Oh, we'll put them right here in town.
Well, you understand, I mean, people trash cans.
We're gonna throw soda
Well, we
cans
have to
in.
figure out where to put them if we wanted to do something like this. Because is it true with the garbage now, you can't throw out plastic bags? You used to be able to, not with the trash? For recycling?
Garbage or recycling. They
Yeah.
used to be plastic bags were.
See, this is where this would pick up where they're not.
I don't know, Denise recycles a whole bunch of
Yeah.
plastic.
Yeah, I don't think you're supposed to recycle the
I
plastic
think Tom
bags.
knows if
Tom, go ahead, Tom, tell us.
You have those flow bags, the little white bags, you can't put those in recycling now. They're not recyclable.
What
kind of
type of
bags?
bag?
They call them blow bags, the little.
The
you know,
shopping
like
bags.
the shopping bags.
Like
you
from
get it
ShopRite?
The one that says ShopRite on it?
And
Stop and Shop.
Oh, shopping store, you know, like Stop and Shop, ShopRite.
You're
any of
not
those little
supposed to
bags.
recycle those anymore.
You can't recycle those.
So you
So
throw
if you
them
have
in the
things-
garbage?
Yes.
Yes.
Or when you go back to the store, sometimes they have a bin you can put them in. I think that's what Kathy's talking
Yeah,
about
but this is
now.
where, yeah, this would
A
be,
collection spot for those kind of bags.
yeah, I
So
think
why
Stop
don't we
and Shop
put
is.
one, yeah, can we get one in Stop and Shop?
Well, I think they're supposed to
Yeah.
do it. They're listed on this website that they do it, but I've never seen it at
Well,
our
I
Stop
think
and
we
Shop.
should reach out to them and see if they
I
can
think
be our
they do that one
partner.
at the front of the store when you
Right,
first
they-
walk
Yeah,
in, when you're inside, before you get through that second
And where the
door.
carts are?
Either side.
See, I've never seen it, but maybe it's there.
So how could we benefit from that?
Get a park bench.
No, I know
Well, we
that,
can't
but-
benefit from that, but we can do the right thing by not recycling where we
absolutely.
shouldn't be.
I think somebody should look into maybe the part, like, if they're doing it over there, we just need to get the word
Well,
out.
we could do that too, or we could do this, or is it right that we not recycle them? Because I know it's weird, because in the Glens, we have a new garbage carrier, and we couldn't recycle them, and now we do. It's the exact opposite.
Right.
Depends on which way the wind's blowing.
Yeah, right? So
Yeah.
I don't even know what's right or wrong anymore.
It depends where they take them, yeah.
Is that what it is, where they
Yeah,
take
on the
'em?
vendor they're using to recycle.
Okay. Well, we won't move forward, but it did come up as a topic, and we were talking about it, so before we went any further down the road, I just wanted to get clarification.
Let me see how this will work into our recycling program, and if we can
I'll send you the
expand it
link.
or something.
I'll
All
send
right.
you the link, because the link is
Good.
on here, yeah. Okay, and, question about the bids for the skate park. I know that, I think Jordan met with Joe, but I don't think they got to meet with you, and it was to be the three of you, right? Is that still to be scheduled then?
Yeah, I haven't had a chance to talk to Joe about it.
I figured that. Yeah, right, yeah.
That was not on the top
No,
three.
that's why I haven't said anything to you.
Did we get this?
Did you
Yeah.
see the responses?
I saw the responses, but I didn't see any of the detail of it.
Okay.
And I have concern
So-
about the one because I don't know if it really met the specifications of the visits and the design that it was supposed to.
Worried about the low price one?
Yeah,
But
it
it
was
was
like
only
really
one
different
visit.
than the others, so it's like,
Well, let me talk to Joe about, and the other ones were a little over our,
yeah, so I don't know. I mean,
Budget,
without seeing the
so,
detail, I can't even disseminate what happened. It's not really up to me, but,
we had planned that considered having three whose prices fell within the bell curve of being at near budget, and we didn't get that, so.
well, I think you
I
would
mean,
have done that. Do we have, can we rebid, or can we be more clear, or can
We
we,
can, I don't think we can be
can
a
we
whole lot
talk to
clearer.
them? Is there anything, and you know that whole
We
process.
can, let me talk to Joe and I'll get back to the committee and council.
Yeah, and if you need Jordan to come, like, probably if the three of you meet like you were supposed to at some point, it probably would just be clearer,
Okay,
you know, because it just got a lot of, you
no
know,
problem.
same, it's
Will do.
no big deal. Yeah, I didn't want to pressure you at all.
Anything
Done.
else?
No.
No, that's it?
Mhm.
Okay. All right, real quick, just a couple of things. Actually, thank you, Louise, you had mentioned some of this, but the community flood outreach information session that we did last night did go extremely well. It was the first in a series of meetings, so I mean, we'll improve on it. But we did have, like Louise said, 145 groups came in, because, you know, you figure even if somebody came in with 2 people, only one registered. And
We didn't
the
have
room,
enough chairs.
and the room was full. We didn't have enough chairs. We used all the chairs over across the street, but,
long as you got enough dessert.
yeah.
Yeah, right, enough food.
And then just so you know, what it was about and who was there. Congressman Freelandheisen came and said a few words, which we were very thankful that he came. That was very nice of him. He supported Pequannock. And Assemblyman Kevin Rooney was in attendance as well. The flood committee and our own town engineer, Joe Golden, pretty much ran the meeting. They went over the elevation grant process, talked about the importance of elevation certificates, flood insurance. We talked about the flood mapping, and the flood committee, led by Ken Hardacre, he had introduced a flood app. Actually, it's led by his wife, Dara Hardacre, but Ken actually facilitated the meeting and had come up with a really good flood application for everyone's phone. If you have an iPhone or what have you, you can load this flood app, which he went into some detail about. So there was a question about, they also had and we'll give you more information on that. They're going to send out instructions how to do that. It's very easy to load. Did everybody on the council get to load that on their phone?
I did, and what's you can find it in the App Store, and it's the, what's the name of that app again?
It's Flood. Yeah.
Pequannock Flood.
Right.
I got it right here.
It's on the flyer that they had. Anybody have that flyer? It was on.
Make sure everybody knows.
Yeah.
Pequannock Flood Watch?
Yeah, that's
Pequannock
it.
Township Flood.
Pequannock Flood, yeah. I loaded it as well. It is actually very good. There's actually a couple features on there. The town can push out notifications in the event of emergencies. You can, there's a place where you can report all your stuff for insurance. Like if there was going to be another event, you can store all your put the records of all your contents that are in your house on the flood app, and it's very easy then to pull up and get that reported for insurance. So there's going to be more to come on that. I was asked, I don't know if we can do this, but I was asked if we can either get a message on the marquee board or on the mobile sign, the lighted sign, asking people to go ahead and load, it's right here, load the Pequannock Flood Watch app on their phone. Another thing they would like to do is we did collect at least 145 emails last night. They figured they could email out instructions on how residents can load that app. Some did it right there in the room, but there was so much information, of course they didn't. We did give them a handout, but it was just load the app.
Well, those people were there from other towns,
right.
too.
Yes, there were people there from other towns. We had representatives, and we even had people there from, and it wasn't so much residents, it was the leaders in the town that wanted to see what Pequannock was doing and was impressed. We had people from Pumpton Lakes, Lincoln Park, Wayne, and they were either members of the flood committee, the town council, the mayors, they wanted to see what Pequannock was doing because we seem to be in the forefront of, these of the preparedness and elevation grants. Don't say flooding. But it was the first in a series of meetings. I mean, there's so much information, you can't put it all out in one meeting, so there will be more. But we had a surveyor there, an insurance rep, someone there was from an elevation company, smart vent company, so it was good. So that was our thoughts about that. The event will help towards our CRS rating, our community rating system for 2017. So if you haven't already, Louise, we need to get a copy of that sign-in sheet. Sheets to the engineer's office, as well as a copy of the invitation that went out and the flyer and all that, just so they have that for the records. So that's that. And another thing that came up was our OEM preparedness plan. Bobby Joe Murphy back about April 18th had sent out something for review. Yeah, because it was time. What do they do? Update that every couple of years, I think it was 4 years. There was a question that just happened to come around at the same time from the flood committee, talking about doing drills, just like the fire department does the drill at the castle, for instance. They were talking about a drill for preparedness. An example that was given to me was even with the with the shopping center. Yes, supposedly, the floodgates that are over at the Stop and Shop, for instance, I'm being told that people don't know how to operate those floodgates. And what the,
That's not.
I don't know if that's
not
true.
our responsibility.
yeah.
Yeah, that's
Well, they
fine.
wondered if there could be a drill about that, and I wasn't sure.
That's the.
That's the owner of the.
Yeah, that's what I thought too. But maybe between the town, I don't know if that's something that the town gets involved with,
Well,
with
yeah,
the,
we-
with the
we wouldn't-
landlords.
Other than, coordinating with
Mhm.
them and
Right.
communicating that
They need to
an
do
issue is coming,
that. Right.
they would be, the
Right.
owner of the property
Mhm.
is responsible
And-
to put them up.
Well, that's what I, that's what I relayed.
and who is it who told you they don't know how to operate?
I said, I should probably
The
should talk
guy
about
by the
this.
switch.
You're talking about the
Yeah,
physical barriers that they put up in
Correct.
front of Stop and Shop.
correct. Truthfully, I think we just need, I can always follow up, but I think really what it is I said that. I said it was the owner of the property. I'm sure that has something in place. And I was told that it was the owners of the management of the stores that were responsible for it, and that they had no idea. So that's where the disconnect was. But I wasn't sure if the town did anything with that, with the drills, that's all.
We tell them it's time to put them up.
Yeah, so we just need to make sure that they have.
Shame on them if they don't know how to put them
I
up,
agree
because if
with
the
That's
worst
what I
comes
said.
up, they need to know how to put them on.
Yeah, that's what I was told,
Someone
but
better.
I can always reach out to the
That was
landlord.
a fortune for them to do that.
Yeah.
It came from the chair of the flood committee talking specifically about home goods.
Oh,
Oh, Home Goods. I
oh,
don't
that
think,
person works at Home Goods.
I don't think Home Goods has them,
Yes.
Stop and Shop has them.
No, the
Physical
whole
building.
building
The whole
on the
Yeah.
backside.
Okay.
And I was told that it is the store, whoever runs the store, it's their responsibility to have their people do that. And the chain all the way up to the top does not know. That's what I was told.
The ownership of that center has changed
Mhm,
recently.
Okay.
So I
That's
will
probably
have
what I-
OEM reach out to
Thank
them
you.
just as a introduction.
Courtesy, thank you.
And-
That's where that
But
came up.
it's still not our
I know.
responsibility to set up their gates.
Yeah, I just told them I'd ask the question. So thank you with that. You already talked about the bids from the library children's edition, so I guess we're just waiting on that. They were open today, correct? And we had 5 of them? Okay. We're also looking to fill, I don't know if anybody knew, they're looking to fill the head of the children's service position at the library because the head of that had resigned and to another job. So they're looking to fill that position. The Economic Development Committee meets tomorrow night at 7:30, and as Louise mentioned, Mike from Pompton Lakes will be at the meeting to talk about the redevelopment plan that's going on there. And I know members of our Economic Development Committee met with our planner last week and got some good insight there. What else? There was a health fair today at the senior house. Well attended, very well attended. I had stopped in for a few minutes and it was very successful. And I understand Style of Ride's 40th anniversary. They should be doing something special for them.
They did that, or
I know. Yeah, no, it was a nice event. I stopped there today. We talked about Little League opening day. The only other thing I wanted to bring up was the district-wide green team. I had gotten a letter from the superintendent's office about being involved in the district-wide green team. I talked a little bit to Councilwoman Kathy Winterfield about it. They said there could be 2 reps from the town, I believe. So I was going to see if no one objects to it. I'm going to the district-wide green team meeting tomorrow. And then I'm going to ask Kathy to step in when she can, because they usually meet in the afternoon.
Is it a green team or is it the environmental team?
It's,
District-wide green team.
yeah, it's the district-wide green
So,
team.
in addition to
And-
the environmental clubs?
Yes, yes. But if there's no objection, I had received a letter to officially join that team. They had reached out. They said that they do need representation from the town, and it would be.
Do you have time to sleep?
Well, I'm going to go tomorrow. It's 3:15. So, but I'll get an update tomorrow. More to come on that. Okay? And that's it.
Maybe they're doing something for Arbor Day.
Well, that's what I'm going to find out. So that's all I have.
All right.
Okay?
Dave, one thing on the flooding, you know all the gauges and things we can monitor? Is there one that East Ditch or one of them not working?
Yes,
Yeah, it's been quite some time, hasn't it?
not that long, but
Who fixes that?
good question.
Mm-hmm.
Because
We're
I
trying to
noticed
figure
that.
that out.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, it looks like it got hit or something, because it's
Okay.
actually bent.
Oh, all right. Who installed it?
Because that's a pretty critical gauge.
Yeah.
Yeah, when you look on those websites, they'll sometimes say this one maintained by, and there's like
This one doesn't.
6 or 7 different agencies
Going like
that
this.
can, yeah. We're working on it.
All right, thanks.
All right, next on the agenda is public comment. Anyone wishes to address the council, please wait to be recognized. Louise, come on up.
Hi, Louise Marchese again, 16 Roland Road, 31 years this month. Quick question. It came up at the Republican Club the other night. With the elevation grant that we are receiving, do they have to follow prevailing wage or not?
I thought that was no, because the homeowners are responsible for that.
Is it going to be prevailing wage or non?
Or not? And as I said, this is only because it came up at the meeting.
We will have more information on that as time moves forward. That'll be one of the topics for the first meeting with the residents involved in the 15 grant. I'm not going to commit either way at this point. I've heard opinions from, people who are, I consider knowledgeable both ways. So until I have an opinion from both the state and the granting agencies, not going to make a commitment either way.
To be determined.
Right.
Thank you.
The grant that we just did is not prevailing wage because the homeowners are responsible for it, right? We're not.
He's not going to tell.
I've heard that opinion.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, the more and more we go down the road with this and learn, we're finding out new information, and that's what I thought, because there was a little discussion about that. I thought that we weren't sure which way we were going next. But okay. All right, good. Thanks for bringing that up, Louise.
Jay has a
Jay.
question.
Thank you. Very quickly, Jay Wanzik, 26 Poplar. Just wanted to commend council on really backing these all the flood issues over the years. I mean, what you just said, Melissa, other mayors are coming to the meeting to find out what we're doing is because we're the leader. And that's a position we had in the 1980s and early 90s. And the ball has dropped a little, and I'm glad to see it back. Glad to see us back in the CRS program, Dave, and those things. It just makes me feel good, like some of the groundwork was not abandoned from years ago. Second of all, with the Dial-A-Ride 40th anniversary, the subject of the next display case in the next few days, we'll be celebrating Dial-A-Ride's 40th anniversary, which was remarkable in itself when you think about it.
Yeah, it really is.
Municipalities just getting together on their own, not under force of law or a legislature, and it's literally the last 5 Pequannock Township community towns. So that exhibit will be up by the end of the week.
Great, thank you, Jay.
Thank you.
Okay. Anyone else? No? All right, next on the agenda are minutes to be approved. I think we have April 11th. Is there any comments on the minutes? And if not, can I ask for a motion?
There was one correction on
Okay.
page 2. It says on a motion by Mr. Fallon and seconded by Mr. Fallon, so.
Could I do that?
Probably tried.
Maybe it was Joe and Rich Fallon.
Now she has to go back to the tape and figure it out.
I do, yes.
Yeah,
Dave
else.
Cole
That's
seconded, I remember.
That's funny, that's a good catch.
You have a really good memory.
Dave Cole,
You don't-
I'm telling you,
You don't
Dave,
mind if I double check it
you
too?
can double check it, so we can't approve the minutes then?
Can we approve of,
Yeah,
with
You can approve.
that change?
I'll make a motion to approve the April 11th, 2017
And
minutes
Dave
with that
seconded it
correction.
too.
I'll
And
second
Dave
it. All
seconded
right,
it.
Kathy seconded it. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Moving on. Anything for closed session tonight? No? Okay. Is there a motion to
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
adjourn?
I'll second it.
Okay.